in the practice here?
No, we moved here about 3
years.
About 3 years ago.
Do you want to explain what it is in terms of the vitamin B12 therapy and how that's affected you?
Yeah, well, before I was diagnosed with B12 deficiency and Pernicious anemia, I've been suffering for years with problems. It started first with lifting things and dropping them, memory loss, but the memory loss was actually starting to get to a really bad stage. I had constant anemia that was getting iron tablets months after months, nothing was helping it. And really my system, I was so fatigued, it was unbelievable. It wasn't even a tiredness you could put down, oh, I'm tired today. It was exhaustion, all over exhaustion. And that had went on for literally months. It got worse after the birth of my son, which was
back in November 2007.
2007. Sorry, my injections low just now, so my memory kind of goes. That's the problem I have with it. Is with my injections are low, I have a real problem with my memory. But with the birth of my son, things had got to a really bad stage where it just was impossible to cope. Just mainly the memory was and fatigueness was to an extent I just couldn't cope anymore.
Were there any other physical symptoms of, like particularly at that time in terms of?
I'd started to lose I started to have problems with pins and needles, really bad pins and needles in my hands, mainly in the one hand and on my legs, especially at night. And it was actually starting to get really painful. And eventually, I'd been over to the nurse about 5 or 6 times and said about the fatigueness, and they kept taking my blood and putting more and more iron tablets. And I said, but if I could just kick the tiredness. And eventually one day we went to Dr. Shandy, and it was instantly just in his practice, and he went, I'm going to take a test. And soon we'll see what the results are. And the results came back, that was B12 deficient.
So when Dr. Chandy prescribed the vitamin B12 injections, the supplements, what was the impact? How long did it take before you felt an improvement in your condition?
I think right away there was a slight improvement, especially in the memory. When I got the injection, especially where I were on quite a lot at the beginning, I definitely got an improvement with the memory. But between injections again, it would start, the minute they put me onto the 3-monthly injections, I would say about a month after getting it, my system would just grind to a halt again. And it would just keep doing that every time, waiting for the next injection. But since then I've been moved to the monthly injections, and I get about, I would say 2 weeks, a relatively quite normal memory, but that's about it. But due to the consequences of not getting it early enough, was it caused nerve damage in my hand, which I lost, I'm left-handed, so I've lost the ability to write. I can't pick up even simple things like a cup, I've got to remember not to pick it up with that hand. Whether it will regain, we don't know, but at the moment it certainly hasn't. It's stopped, which is a really good thing, because it was deteriorating to a stage there. I was actually not even being able to move the arm properly. Now I can move the arm relatively good, but the hand doesn't work.
I understand, yeah.
So obviously doing signatures or anything, you've had to
I've had to take over doing signatures between
paperwork and so on,
And I find that really embarrassing, because if you go in anywhere, you're so used to writing for everything. People say, put a signature down.
Can't do that.
And I've got to figure out how to do it.
It's just so painful for you, like even the slightest bit of pressure on the hand, the wrist, the arm.
I get a lot of pain, and it's still pins and needles, but with the injections, the pain seems to go out of it. And that's one thing the injections does help. I mean, really without them, I don't know where my life would be, because I was so down with it. I mean, it just was impossible to live, wasn't it?
There's also a problem with, from Jen's point of view as well, is that where I have to be a little bit more aware, a little bit more cautious, is that because of the nerve damage in the arm, Jen can very easily cut herself or burn herself, or just recently the weekend she was stung by a wasp. She doesn't realise it's actually occurred, and that is it's a major problem because Jen actually, if she does cut herself, Jane's a bleeder. You know, she bleeds like a fountain, so it's to get something. She might not recognise that something's happened until she recognises obviously the blood stain.
Yeah.
But obviously that could be a deep wound, and from a partner's point of view, there's a lot that you have to cope with, not just in regards to the way that Jane reacts to obviously certain injuries, but also on a night time. Literally, Jane can be so awake because she just cannot sleep whatsoever. The irritation from the arms, from the legs, the way that her body feels, the aches and the pains, that she could be up till about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, I've got work the next day myself, so I'm up with Jane, obviously trying to assist, trying to keep, you know, to help her to get to sleep, or just being with her to obviously, you know, to be there as a comfort. But then during the day, obviously when she does get 2 hours sleep, during the day she'll feel tired.
Yeah.
It's such a vicious circle.
Yeah. I can get through all day exhausted. I mean, I don't tend to go to bed and lie down to it, but I just feel physically exhausted. And at night time I'm wakened all night because I'm so irritable. And it's just like a constant vicious circle where you go round in circles with that. But with the injections, that certainly improves. For about 2 weeks after injection, I can go to bed at night and actually have a sleep, and it's nice to actually have that, to be able to rest.
So Jane, how many years have you been on the vitamin B12 therapy? Is it just since the birth of your son?
It's about 18 months, it was after the birth of my son, and since that time it's been a lot better.
Yeah. And you found an appreciable improvement as a consequence?
Oh, definitely.
There's
There's quite an improvement.
But it would be nice to recognise when Jane, you can literally recognise when Jane is starting to peak, starting to drop from the injection. And from a partner's point of view, if there was a way that you were allowed to actually assist your wife, obviously with being able to inject, and my wife, myself, with the B12, when you recognise, obviously that she is on a drop, that would just be so much, you know, so much help to her. But it's literally trying to break through these barriers of the recognition of B12.
Yeah, because I think try to remember, because you are B12 and your memory's bad, try to remember to make an appointment at the doctor, where that's normal, easy for a person.
Yes, yeah.
My husband will say to me, "Have you made an appointment with the doctor?" And I'll go, "Yeah, I'll do it, and then I forget, and I can go a week, 2 weeks past my time because I forgot to phone the doctor. So if you had the injection at hand, it would be a lot easier."
I'm a living organiser.
Okay, well thanks very much indeed for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before you get up, I'll just